Well, back to our top story now. A message from al-Qaeda tipping off U.S. intelligence to what lawmakers call the most serious terror threat in years. Officials fear that the terror group could be plotting undetectable liquid explosives. And now the State Department evacuating all American employees from a U.S. embassy in Yemen. And just hours after shutting down embassies and consulates in 19 cities in the Mideast and Africa for the rest of the week. Mike Baker, former CIA covert operations officer and president of Diligence LLC, a global intelligence and security firm, joins us with more. Thank you for joining us, Mike. I want to start first with this liquid explosive. What do we know about it and who is making it? How dangerous is it?
Well, al-Qaeda has always been very experimental in terms of trying to identify new delivery mechanisms for explosives. So we've known for a long time. I mean, you look at the underwear bomb. You look at their experiments with what are referred to as body bombs, bombs that are actually put inside the suicide bomber's body. We've also known that they have been working on liquid explosives, and so this is a carry-on from that. It's interesting that we're providing so much information about this threat. I'm not sure that that's actually necessary. We seem to be unable to keep secrets anymore when it comes to the actual specifics of threats. But you know, now they've been talking about this, and so what they're trying to do is develop a liquid explosive that would not be detected by what they understand as being our standard procedures and capabilities right now. And that could include either liquids in the form of a bottle posing as a drink. It could be liquid, interestingly enough, that they actually put clothing or other materials into. Then that liquid dries, and suddenly you've got a sweater or whatever it may be that's coated in explosive material.
And undetectable by, at least here at home, the TSA when you go through the security at the airports.
Right, and this is a constant struggle, a constant battle in the world of counterterrorism. You're always You don't want to be in a reactive mode, so we spend a lot of time within the community trying to understand what may be the next threat. So it's not as if we're just standing by waiting for al-Qaeda or whomever to develop the next generation of explosive devices. On our side, we're being very proactive in trying to ensure that our technology stays ahead of that effort.
Okay, the White House not ruling out an attack on U.S. soil. When we hear about, the level of the threat, we hear about the possible liquid explosives that you're talking about, how concerned should we be here at home?
Well, we always have to be, concerned to some degree. We don't seem to get the idea, the notion that there's nothing to be gained by our U.S. leadership going out there and saying, we've got al-Qaeda on the run, or, we're close to victory. That's not going to happen. This is not a zero-sum game. Jihadism or extremism, radical Islam, whatever you want to refer to it, however you feel comfortable talking about it, that's not going away anytime soon. Al-Qaeda is an element of that. So we're talking about threats overseas. Their big holy grail is always, the big one. And, they not necessarily trying to top 9/11, but identifying and choosing and perpetrating an activity here in the U.S., that's their big holy grail. So we should be concerned.
Yeah, and the major concern seems to be resonating around Yemen at this point. I want to go back to what you mentioned in terms of the amount of information that continues to come out to the media, the public finding out about it. Why do you think that's happening?
Well, call me cynical on this one, but clearly the White House, despite calling Benghazi a phony scandal and not wanting to necessarily deal with it, they're politically sensitive. They understand, not just on the tragedy level, but on the political level, what it would mean if they have another attack and loss of U.S. life overseas or here in the States. And so I'm afraid that there's a political calculation that has increased now in how we identify and then determine whether to release threat levels or threat alerts. Mm-hmm. And that's a problem, because then that potentially drives how much information we release. We've been talking now recently over the past day or two about why this was released. Well, it was because it was a conversation that was intercepted between the #1 of al-Qaeda, Zawahiri, and the head of al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, AQAP, a guy named Wahashi. And so that's not information that needs to go out in the public. That's basically just telling al-Qaeda how we're onto them.
Yeah.
And so, again, people have to learn how to keep their yap shut, frankly.
Okay. And on that note, we have to wrap it up, Mike, but we definitely have to, protect American lives, also protect our sources for the information. Thank you.
Ain't that the truth?